Imagine walking into a room and feeling a tension you can't explain. The air feels heavier, every word seems calculated, every glance measured. At first you think it's nothing, maybe your imagination, but slowly you realize that something is off. You notice the subtle ways someone bends reality, the charm that feels almost too smooth, the praise that comes with an unspoken demand. You see people around you responding, but you feel a creeping unease. That's when it hits you. This is not ordinary behavior. This is someone who feeds on control, someone who studies every reaction, every weakness, every fear, shaping your emotions to fit their plan. And yet, all of it, every manipulation, every carefully calculated act, depends on one thing: your response. But what happens when you stop responding? What happens when your silence becomes your shield and your peace becomes your power? That is the moment everything changes and the storm you never expected begins to shift. You ever notice how a storm loses its force the moment the winds die down? That's exactly what happens when a narcissist realizes you no longer care. No reactions, no fear, no control, just silence. And that silence shakes them more than any argument or scream ever could. When a narcissist sees that you've stopped caring, the first thing they feel is the loss of control. For them, control isn't just something they want. It's the core of how they deal with people. From the very start, they observe you, study your emotions, and figure out what makes you happy, sad, or reactive. They build a personal playbook using praise, guilt, fear, charm, and even silence to manipulate and dominate. This isn't love, it's possession disguised as affection. Once you step back emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, the power they once held begins to fade. Control gives a narcissist a sense of validation. If they can make you chase them, argue, cry, or even hate them, they feel alive. Your reactions feed their ego, and your confusion boosts their sense of superiority. As long as they can provoke a reaction, they believe they still matter. But when you stop responding, stop explaining, defending, or justifying, when your silence becomes steady, their illusion of control vanishes. It doesn't disappear quietly. It crashes violently in their mind. They sense the change long before you think they notice. They are extremely aware of power, especially when it starts slipping away. They may pretend it doesn't bother them, but inside, panic rises. Why aren't you begging, checking in, or arguing anymore? They replay your interactions, analyzing your calmness. For someone addicted to control, that stillness terrifies them. At this point, the narcissist might try to regain control. They may say something cruel or passive-aggressive, hoping to provoke a reaction. They want to see if any part of you is still hooked, but when you remain unmoved, they feel exposed and weak. Their identity depends on being untouchable, admired, feared, and always in control, not ignored. Your indifference signals that the game is over. This loss of control can make them reflect, though not in the way others might. They won't admit their faults or think about what they did wrong. Instead, they wonder why they lost the ability to keep you attached. They may blame you for being cold or ungrateful. They can't accept that the issue was their misuse of your devotion. Often, they rewrite the story to make it seem like you were the one who walked away. They lost you because they never really had you, only your emotional energy. Despite their inner chaos, they often act like nothing is wrong. Narcissists are performers. They might show off new relationships, achievements, or sudden joy, trying to make you feel jealousy or doubt. But it's all an act to regain a sense of control. Not over you directly, but over their image. They cannot control you anymore, so they try to control the narrative. What they fail to understand is that when someone truly stops caring, they've already grieved the relationship. They've let go of false hope and emotional manipulation. What remains is clarity, and clarity destroys manipulation. The narcissist doesn't just lose a person, they lose the illusion of control, and for them, that is the most painful loss. Their usual reaction is either explosive anger or cold withdrawal, both meant to reassert dominance and punish you for detaching emotionally. This isn't random. It's carefully planned, rooted in the narcissist's fragile ego and their obsessive need to be the center of your emotional world, whether through love, fear, or chaos. Spiteful, narcissistic rage isn't ordinary anger. It's explosive, extreme, and often unpredictable. It comes from the deep wound of feeling rejected or abandoned. The moment you stop reacting, stop chasing, and stop being affected by their games, the narcissist experiences what psychologists call a narcissistic injury, a blow to their carefully built self-image. That hurt doesn't just sting, it burns. Instead of facing it or reflecting on their behavior, they push it outward. You become the target. You'll hear harsh words, see outbursts, and possibly experience attacks on your character. They may say things meant to cut deeply, invalidate your worth, attack your identity, and make you question your progress. But their goal isn't just to hurt you, it's to shock you back into emotional reaction. The narcissist doesn't care if you cry, scream, or fight back. As long as you feel something, as long as you give them energy, your response confirms that they still matter. They thrive on this toxic connection, where chaos feels like passion and manipulation feels like love. If rage doesn't work and you remain calm, they may suddenly shift tactics, moving from fire to ice. Cold silence is another weapon. It's not peaceful, it's punishing. The narcissist wants you to feel invisible, unworthy, or abandoned. They hope the emptiness will pull you back toward them. They might ignore your messages, act like you don't exist, or disappear entirely, only to return when they sense your defenses weakening. This silence isn't about needing space, it's control. It's an emotional freeze-out meant to make you insecure. The cycle between rage and silence is a psychological trap. If you've been caught in it, it can be confusing. You may question yourself. Was I too harsh? Did I do something wrong? That's exactly what they want. The narcissist wants to keep you unstable, doubting your own reality so they can slip back in and regain control. But real detachment is strong. When you stop caring, their rage becomes noise and their silence becomes space. You start seeing through the performance. You understand that neither their outburst nor absence is really about you. It's about them trying to stay relevant in a world where manipulation no longer works. That realization drives them crazy. Loud anger or chilling silence, they are reacting to one truth. They are losing their grip over you. For someone whose worth depends on controlling how others feel, this is terrifying. Their response is to fight back the only way they know. Louder, harsher, colder, more distant, hoping you break, and they win. When a narcissist sees you no longer care, their first reaction isn't acceptance, it's desperation. That desperation fuels a different kind of manipulation. It's no longer subtle charm or quiet mind games. It becomes frantic, messy, and driven by fear. They know you are slipping away, so they pull every tactic from their emotional playbook to bring you back. This is when love bombing returns. Guilt trips begin, and the performance of victimhood takes the stage. They act like they've changed, suddenly kind, thoughtful, saying all the right things. Lines like, "I've been thinking about us," or "I didn't realize how much I hurt you," aren't real confessions. They are calculated moves to reset the emotional bond and make you doubt your choice to walk away. Nostalgia and apologies appear, not from remorse, but to provoke a reaction. Every gesture is planned, hoping you respond. If love bombing doesn't work, they switch to guilt. This is when they remind you of everything they supposedly did for you. They twist the past, exaggerate their sacrifices, and minimize the ways they hurt you. Phrases like, "After everything I did for you, this is how you repay me," become common. Their goal is to make you second-guess yourself. They want you to wonder if you overreacted or were too harsh, if maybe they deserve another chance. Emotional blackmail wrapped in sentimentality is their tool. They know guilt is powerful, especially against someone who once cared deeply. Then comes the victim act, where they portray themselves as the wronged party, telling friends, family, or even social media that you were cold or abandoned them. It's never enough that they lost control over you. They also want to influence how others see you. Sympathy becomes part of the act, an audience to applaud their performance. In some cases, they even look for new admirers to fill the role you walked away from. But while seeking new supplies, they keep trying to reel you back, because your detachment feels like a wound they can't heal. Their actions become urgent and intense as they sense your emotional door closing. Narcissists depend on reactions, anger, sadness, defense, because those responses feed them. When you stop reacting, they start to panic. It's like trying to revive a dying flame in a storm. They scramble and may cycle through love bombing, guilt, and silent treatment within a single day. These manipulations aren't about love, they're about survival. Their identity is tied to how others respond to them. Without someone to manipulate, without emotional attachment, your indifference reflects a reality they can't face. It shows the emptiness behind their charm and that their games no longer work. They try harder, not because they care about you, but because they can't stand that you stopped caring about them. On the outside, they may look calm or indifferent, but inside, their ego unravels. It's deeper than disappointment or hurt. Their sense of self is built on superiority, control, and the validation of others. When you stop responding, it's like pulling the plug on their supply, and their ego starts to collapse. This collapse doesn't happen quietly. It looks like confusion, anger, and desperation. Narcissists survive on illusions. They believe they are smarter, more important, or more attractive than others. These beliefs protect deep insecurity and need reflection from others to survive. When someone detaches emotionally, it shatters that reflection. They are forced to confront a painful truth. They aren't as powerful or necessary as they think. Unable to handle this truth in a healthy way, they lash out or withdraw. They may blame you, telling themselves you were ungrateful, disloyal, or cruel. This blame isn't just meant to hurt you. It shields them from facing the reality that their manipulation failed. The truth that someone saw them clearly and walked away breaks their illusion completely. To protect themselves, they rewrite the story in their mind. In this version, they weren't abandoned. You were cold and cruel. This narrative preserves their false sense of superiority. They may even share this version with others to gain sympathy or admiration. They can't accept that you left because you saw them for who they are. This clarity threatens their entire emotional structure. Sometimes ego collapse makes them obsess over you, not out of love, but to regain control. They may monitor your life from a distance, watching if you miss them or if you've truly moved on. Your peace becomes their proof of failure, and your silence speaks louder than any argument. Detachment equals defeat, and emotional irrelevance terrifies them. When a narcissist realizes you don't care anymore and all their tactics fail, they often look for a new source of attention or admiration. This is not random, it's a survival instinct. Narcissists don't just want validation, they need it to feel worthy. Your indifference becomes a mirror they cannot bear. It reflects emptiness, the failure of their manipulation, and the truth that their games no longer work. Rather than face the pain of rejection or feeling insignificant, they turn outward, searching for someone new to validate their ego and fill their emotional needs. This search for a new source of attention often happens quickly. Narcissists hate emptiness, and your silence creates a vacuum that threatens their identity. They don't take time to reflect, heal, or process the end of a relationship the way emotionally healthy people do. Instead, they look for someone open, empathetic, or vulnerable, someone they can charm, impress, and manipulate. It's never about love or real connection. It's about control, admiration, and the emotional energy they crave. The new person is chosen because they are available, not because they are a true match. The narcissist will often present themselves as a victim to this new person. They tell stories about being mistreated, giving everything, and being left behind. This earns sympathy, which quickly turns into emotional investment. Idealization, flattery, and attention create a temporary illusion of connection until the new person begins to see past the mask. Meanwhile, the narcissist feels powerful again. The emotional wound caused by your indifference is hidden, replaced by a new distraction. During this phase, they may flaunt the new person in front of you through social media, mutual friends, or subtle comments meant to provoke jealousy. They want to see if you still react. If you show anger or sadness, they feel validated, proving to themselves that they still matter. But if you remain silent, your disinterest stings all over again. Instead of facing that feeling, they double down on showing off their new life, trying to prove to themselves and others that they've moved on. Jumping to a new source of attention doesn't fix anything. It only delays the inevitable. The pattern repeats because the root problem remains: their inability to form genuine, reciprocal emotional bonds. Eventually, the charm fades, the mask slips, and the new person starts noticing the same traits that made you leave. The narcissist ends up frustrated, angry, and desperate for validation, stuck in a cycle of endless pursuit without fulfillment. While chasing new attention, they may still check on you from a distance. Narcissists often keep mental lists of past partners or people who once fed their ego. They might reach out suddenly, acting normal, or send vague messages to test if the door is still slightly open. Any reaction from you feels like a win to them, while continued silence reminds them of their loss. This endless search is not empowerment, it's emotional instability. They cannot sit with themselves or endure the quiet. Your detachment exposes a wound they refuse to heal, so they chase distraction instead. What they gain is temporary. What they lose is permanent and real. When a narcissist sees that you truly don't care anymore, one of the most unsettling truths hits them. They no longer control you. Control is the core of how narcissists operate. It isn't always loud or aggressive. It can be charm, silent treatment, calculated kindness, or guilt. Underneath every move is the same goal: to control your emotions, your reactions, and how you perceive them. Once you detach and your emotions no longer respond to their manipulation, they face a reality they cannot bend. This loss of control doesn't just frustrate them, it terrifies them. They cannot function well in uncertainty. Your calm, unbothered presence is a loss far greater than any breakup could ever feel to them. They may try to regain control in subtle or dramatic ways. They might provoke you with compliments followed by criticism. They could bring up old mistakes, paint themselves as misunderstood, or warn you that you'll never find someone like them. Each move is calculated to make you doubt yourself, to spark any emotional reaction. To a narcissist, even your anger proves they still matter. Silence, however, is devastating. It removes their leverage and tells them they're no longer at the center of your emotional world. For someone used to being the focus, being reduced to background noise is unbearable. When control is lost, some spiral, though not always visibly. Sometimes they turn their control inward, obsessing over you from a distance. They might watch your social media, gather information through mutual contacts, or monitor your life quietly. Their silence doesn't mean peace. It means they're waiting for a crack in your armor. They look for signs that you're not really free, that maybe you're pretending. If they can believe that, they can cling to the illusion that you haven't truly escaped. Other times they lash out, trying to regain dominance by damaging your image or discrediting your experience. If they can't control your emotions, they'll attempt to control how others see you. They might twist the story, portray themselves as the victim, and make you look cold, selfish, or unstable. This isn't just revenge, it's desperation. By shaping how others see you, they reclaim a sense of power. Even if they can't reach you, they can still reach others, giving them a small sense of influence where they've lost everything. What hurts them most isn't just your indifference, it's that they didn't expect it. Narcissists often believe their charm is unmatched, that everyone needs them. But when they become a memory in your life instead of a wound, they face something rare, their own insignificance in someone else's world. That's the final blow. Not the silence or distance, but the realization that they no longer matter the way they once did. They never expected you to be strong enough to walk away and never look back. When a narcissist sees that you don't care, what truly shatters is not just the connection, but the illusion of control they built over time. Your silence becomes louder than any argument, your peace more powerful than their chaos. They scramble, scheme, and perform, but nothing works because you've reclaimed something they never expected you to find: your self-worth. The game ends not because you won, but because you stopped playing. That is the moment their power dissolves, when your indifference becomes freedom and their absence becomes your peace. When a narcissist realizes you no longer care, the shift in dynamics is profound. Everything they relied on to feel powerful, the reactions, the fear, the emotional energy you once gave, suddenly disappears. They have spent years learning how to manipulate, observing every cue, every emotion, every weakness to maintain control. But when you detach, that control evaporates, leaving them exposed in ways they rarely experience. This is not simply about losing someone. It's about losing the illusion that they are essential, that they are the center of someone else's world. They may scramble using every tactic they know, but the truth is that none of it can restore what your detachment has taken away. The emotional impact on the narcissist is intense because their entire identity is built on influence and validation. They survive on being seen as powerful, admired, or feared. When you stop reacting, it's as if the foundation beneath them crumbles. Their tactics, charm, manipulation, guilt, rage, and silence are all designed to keep you tied to them emotionally. When these stop working, they are forced to confront a truth they avoid at all costs. They do not have the control they assumed. That realization is terrifying because it is deeply tied to their sense of self. They cannot accept a world in which someone has disengaged from them without consequence. Even if they attempt to regain influence by projecting anger or acting as a victim, it rarely has the effect they hope for. They may try to provoke jealousy, craft narratives to others, or seek new sources of admiration. But these actions are often frantic and disorganized. Their usual confidence and poise are replaced by fear and uncertainty. For a narcissist, indifference is more destructive than confrontation because it removes the very energy that feeds their ego. Silence, calm, and detachment are tools that completely disarm them, showing them that they are no longer necessary to your emotional state. At the core, this dynamic illustrates the difference between power and real connection. Narcissists rely on influence rather than empathy or mutual respect. They measure relationships through what they can extract, not through genuine care. When you reclaim your emotional autonomy, you break the cycle of control. The narcissist may continue to act, to perform, and to seek attention elsewhere, but they cannot recreate the leverage you no longer provide. This is why walking away and refusing to engage is often the most effective form of resistance. It exposes the fragility behind their calculated confidence and forces them to face a reality they cannot manipulate. Ultimately, what they fear most is irrelevance. Losing control over someone's emotions is not just a personal failure, it challenges their self-concept entirely. Your detachment becomes a mirror reflecting their limitations, emptiness, and inability to form meaningful bonds. While they may seek new sources of validation or attempt to rewrite the narrative, nothing can erase the fact that you have chosen peace over manipulation. That choice demonstrates strength, self-respect, and clarity, qualities a narcissist cannot take or replicate. In the end, the moment they recognize you don't care is a turning point. It is the moment their power fades and your freedom begins. When you step back from a narcissist and truly stop caring, it sets in motion a profound shift, not just in the relationship, but in your own life. All the chaos, manipulation, guilt, and rage that once seemed overwhelming lose their power because you no longer respond. You stop being a source of emotional fuel, and in that very silence, in that calm detachment, you reclaim your strength and your freedom. The narcissist may scramble, scheme, or seek attention elsewhere, but none of it can touch the inner peace you have found. Your self-worth, once entangled in their games, is now fully your own, unshakable and independent. The loss for a narcissist is far deeper than simply losing a person. It is the collapse of the illusion they built around control, influence, and emotional dominance. Every tactic, every carefully constructed manipulation becomes meaningless in the face of your detachment. When you refuse to play their game, you reveal to them and to yourself that you cannot be owned, bent, or controlled. This is more than a victory over manipulation. It is a reclamation of your life and your emotional autonomy. Silence and indifference become more powerful than arguments or confrontation because they reflect the clarity, strength, and resilience that the narcissist can never truly possess. Walking away and refusing to engage teaches one of the most important lessons in life. No one has the power to diminish your worth unless you allow it. The narcissist's attempts to regain control, whether through rage, charm, guilt, or seeking new sources of admiration, are ultimately empty and temporary. Your peace and clarity are permanent. In letting go of fear, anger, or the need to justify yourself, you create a space where emotional freedom thrives. You begin to live in a way that is unshaken by manipulation, unclouded by false affection, and fully aligned with your own values and needs. In essence, the moment a narcissist realizes you no longer care is a moment of profound transformation for both parties. For them, it is a collapse of the fantasy they have relied upon for self-worth. For you, it is the birth of empowerment, the reclaiming of dignity, and the ultimate recognition that your life is yours to live, unburdened by control, fear, or manipulation. The peace you cultivate, the silence you maintain, and the self-respect you honor are far more powerful than any argument, any performance, or any attempt to regain influence. This freedom is the true resolution. The narcissist may rage, scheme, or seek new attention, but their actions no longer reach you. Your clarity and emotional independence are unassailable. The cycle of control ends because you refuse to participate. Your life, your choices, and your peace are no longer negotiable. The game is over, not because of victory and confrontation, but because you have stopped playing entirely. Your indifference becomes your strength, your peace becomes your power, and in that space, the narcissist's hold dissolves completely. In walking away, you demonstrate one undeniable truth. Emotional freedom is stronger than any manipulation, and no one can take it from you. When you finally stop giving them the power to manipulate your emotions, when you refuse to play their games, something extraordinary happens. Your silence becomes louder than their chaos, your peace stronger than their rage, and your self-respect more valuable than any approval they could ever demand. In walking away, in detaching from the manipulation and the illusion, you reclaim not just your freedom, but your life. You show that no one, no matter how cunning or controlling, has the right to dictate how you feel or how you live. The narcissist may rage, scheme, or perform, but their tactics now fall flat. Your clarity, your calm, and your independence are unshakable, untouchable, and unstoppable. The moment you stop reacting, the moment you embrace your peace, the entire dynamic shifts. You are no longer the audience to their performance, no longer the fuel for their ego, no longer trapped in the web they once wove around you. Your detachment is not emptiness, it is strength. It is a declaration that your life belongs to you, that your emotions are yours alone, and that your worth cannot be stolen or diminished. What they once controlled so easily now has no hold over you. In that space, you are free. Free from manipulation, free from fear, free from the illusion that someone else could ever define your value. And in that freedom lies the ultimate power. The narcissist may try, they may rage, they may flaunt new distractions or craft stories to sway the world, but none of it matters anymore. You have discovered something they never could, that true strength comes from within, that peace cannot be taken, and that your life, your joy, and your emotional sovereignty are untouchable. The game is over, not because you fought, not because you shouted, but because you stopped playing entirely. Your silence is your victory, your calm is your triumph, and your indifference is the final curtain that dissolves the power they once held. And in that moment, you are unshakable, unstoppable, and completely free.